Hi, this is Tina from Cafe Crop. Thank you for joining us. We are going to make this fun penguin card today. So let's get started. We're first going to get started with our A2 card base and a piece of black paper that covers the front of the card. So it'll be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And what we're going to do with this piece of paper is take a die cut that we have. So this happens to be from the Sizzix Tim Holtz collection called Ornamental. And we are going to cut this out. We want to make sure it's centered when we put it on here. So you can just check and make sure when you put your paper on that you have it centered on the front of your piece of paper. Because once we cut it, we're going to end up with 2 pieces. Now you could use this piece, but we didn't like the look of it, the black on the white. Instead, we're using the frame or the outside piece for our pieces today. So let me go through all of the pieces that we're going to use, because in addition to that, we're going to need a couple pieces of black, and if you just have some black scraps, we're going to cut 2 ovals. Now if you have an oval punch, that would work great. We happen to use an oval die that we had in our collection. I'm not sure exactly which set this came from, but if anything that's an oval shape you can use. You're going to need 2 wiggly eyes and then a couple of pieces of orange scraps. Now these pieces, to get the feet, we actually punched from just a skinny edge off of this scallop square. If you have scallop scissors, a scallop punch, something that's a small scallop, not too large of a scallop, we're going to use that for the feet. And then we punched from another piece of orange scrap. Our smallest oval that we had in a punch wasn't quite the right size, but we had this out of a die set, and we folded a piece of orange paper in half, set it down on here, and we're just holding the die in place with some washi tape, ran it through, and when we do that, we come up with our beak. So those are the pieces that we will need for this card. So let's go ahead and get started. We have our card base, and then I've taken our frame piece, you can see it here, put some adhesive on the back, and before we actually attach it, we're going to take our feet, which are these pieces, and we're actually going to trim them. We want 3 little edges, at least on our punch. It'll depend on your scallop edge, and I'm just going to cut them at a diagonal. So I've got, again, 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to cut right there at a diagonal, and I have my foot that I'm going to put on here. Now, because I want it to actually stick out from the bottom edge of the card, it'll still fit in the envelope as long as you don't bring it out too much. And we don't want it to show here, so we're going to tuck it under the edge right here. So I've got my 2 pieces, and I'm just going to put them down one like here, and one right on here. So I might need to move those apart just a hair more. Let's see what it looks like. That looks pretty good. And we'll go ahead and attach this down to the front of our card. Right like that. And now we just need to attach and put our beak down. Put that right about in the center. And then for the eyes, the easiest thing to do on the eyes is to put them onto a glue dot. That way you're not waiting for any glue to dry. Put that down there. And then we have our 2 arms. Now, in order to get the angle just so, it may stick out over the edge and we just trim it slightly. So I'm going to put it right like that, and we'll just turn the card over so we can see the part that's sticking out. Trim that off carefully so that we don't trim our card, and we have our finished little penguin card. Thanks for joining us today. Feel free to join us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel just by clicking the button below. We look forward to seeing you again soon.